It is Friday, 6 p.m, still so light outside, unbelievable. I used to love this time of year when it's spring, getting warmer, getting lighter, so much more sunlight, so much more time to spend outdoors in the sunlight. I don't really like this time anymore. As an introverted immigrant, I tend to spend the majority of my time alone, and that's okay. I like being alone. But I think that during the winter time, it's not that to your face. Now as days get longer, more people spend time outside. I've been feeling sad and anxious recently, and I decided that today I'm not going to waste this Friday night and I'm going to go to my favorite bookstore. I may or may not spend a lot of my Friday nights there. We are not getting sad today, we're having fun. Bookstores are always fun, aren't they? It's Sunday morning. I didn't get any new books on Friday, but I want to give a brief reading update. I'm reading The Lost Traveler by Antonia. It's a sequel to Frost in May. I mentioned that in my short form video that there's something very comforting about older fiction, especially when it's a coming of age story. It's almost healing to read about someone else's youth and childhood when it doesn't contain any experimentalism, metaphors, or social media as a contemporary story would. I sometimes find myself longing for specifically this type of writing where there's beautiful descriptions, vivid dialogues, well-rounded characters, just a good old novel. The Lost Traveler is a sequel to Frost in May, which was the first Virago classic. It's literally the book that started this wonderful series. In Frost in May, we follow a 9-year-old child who goes into this Catholic boarding school, and we see how her naive and beautiful mind gets shaped by the authority of discipline and religion in that convent. And then The Lost Traveler is her teenage years as she gets back home and the First World War II begins. As far as I understand, both of these and 2 other books that follow The Lost Traveler are autobiographical, like really autobiographical, but I think that there's something really comforting and beautiful about that too. And then in my short form video, I also mentioned that it's somewhat similar to The Death of the Heart, where we also follow a 16-year-old girl who navigates her life and her first love in 1930s London. And then I also mentioned Abigail by Magda, Szabó, which is another wonderful boarding school story about a girl that gets sent there during the Second World War in Hungary and has to grow up to face life's challenges, become brave and kind. That's always a wonderful story everyone loves to read, I feel like. It's Sunday again. I haven't filmed in a week, and it's also the last weekend of March, so let's talk about some of the books that I've read and the books that I'm planning to read in April. I still haven't finished The Lost Traveler. I think I have about 40 pages left. I hope I can finish it today. I'm really enjoying it. I will say though, I really expected something very different. It's a sequel to Frost in May, and Frost in May is a very compelling literary fiction story, whereas I feel like The Lost Traveler is a bit more of an autobiography. There are no distinctive plot lines, and characters sometimes just disappear. And I think that that's exactly how life works. But when you're used to a different format of storytelling, it just takes some time to adjust. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. This week I also read 20 Fragments of a Ravenous Youth, and my friends, it was such an amazing reading experience. The only bad thing that I can say is that it's too short, and I wish I could live in the main character's head a bit longer. It follows Fan. She's from a classic Chinese countryside family, peasants as she calls them. She is so bored by the sweet potato fields that have been surrounding her since she was a child that she longs to escape from it into a bigger, vaster life in Beijing. So she goes, and we basically follow her as she navigates different jobs, relationships, and trying to find herself and her life in a big city. Something about Fan Fang's restless energy made me so drawn to her. I immediately thought of Lucy from Jamaica Kincaid's Lucy, and also I had this song from Wong Kar-wai's Chungkin Express that girl was listening to, California Dreaming, on my mind, like on repeat as I was reading to this book. This book made me really feel more youthful, playful, and energized in a way that I did not expect at all. I also found that Xiaolu has structured this novel very interestingly. I think that she's a fantastic writer, and I'm really eager to read more of her works now. I'm kind of shocked that I have never heard of her before. And then I had another contemporary book come through on my Libby app, and I started reading it. It's called Pond by Claire-Louise Bennett. I've seen a lot of people read her other book, Kiss Kiss Bye Bye or something like that, and raving about it, so I was naturally really excited. However, I realized that it's, what do you call it, Virginia Woolf's writing style? Stream of consciousness, yes, stream of consciousness. It's so not my thing. Stream of consciousness is a spectrum, and I think that Claire-Louise Bennett is very much on the very stream of consciousness type of writing, similar to Virginia Woolf. I, with all due respect, just can't consume that type of literature. I truly think that my brain is just not equipped to perceive stream of consciousness type of writing. I sometimes think that it's me not knowing English well enough, but then I hear other native speakers say similar things, so maybe it's not the language, it's just the stream of consciousness not being for me. For some reason, I don't feel like making an April TBR list this month. However, I think that I have some books that I'm kind of excited to read, and maybe I'll read them. One of them is A Month in the Country. I've been wanting to read it forever, but people have been telling me that it's more of a spring-summer book, so I've been waiting. I have this beautiful copy that I found in Australia. I don't know much about the plot, but I think that it follows two men in the English countryside after the First World War as they are trying to navigate their new lives. I'm actually more excited to read it than I thought. Good. The next book is Awakening by Chopin. I've heard many great things. I think that it might be a required read in American schools. Is it? Please tell me if I'm wrong. It's a daring novel of a woman's sexual and spiritual rebirth. Well, maybe it's not required read after all. And then I have this newly obtained treasure. It's Vladimir Nabokov's autobiography called The Other Shores. Many people say that it's the most beautiful text he has written in Russian. As you all know, because I've told you so many times, my favorite novel by Vladimir Nabokov, The Gift, was his last novel he wrote in Russian. After that, he moved to the United States and started publishing in English. However, he wrote this autobiography in Russian when he was already quite old, and I've heard so many amazing things about it. I'm really excited to read it. I think that it's going to be sad and nostalgical, also because I mean, he was in exile. It wasn't his choice necessarily to move from Russia. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought, but I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I think that it's going to be a very special experience for me. I also wanted to show you that it has butterflies, and in case you don't know, Vladimir Nabokov was a famous scientist. He published a lot of academic papers about butterflies. There are dozens of species of butterflies that are named after Nabokov, and I just think that this is so inspiring and cool that he had this hobby which was still so professionally done by him. The last book on my non-existent April list is A Room with a View by Ian Forster. I'm really excited to read it because I feel like Ian Forster is a renowned novelist. I think that it just came through on my Libby app, so once I finish The Lost Traveler, I'm going to pick up that. Many people have recommended that to me, and many people have said that it's a perfect book for spring, so I'm excited, and I'll let you know how that goes. I think I'm going to end the video here. To be honest, I was very anxious when I started filming. I hope you didn't notice. I also wanted to say thank you. I'm always so grateful for you. By the way, a very fun anti-anxiety hack, which I think I'm the last person in the world to understand, but I've been using wired headphones, earphones for years and years. And the other day I told my partner that I stopped listening to music, that I haven't been listening to music in months. And he got me this new AirPods. And you guys, the noise cancelling feature, I just never suspected how cool it is. I didn't start listening to music, unfortunately, but I'm just walking with this earpods in my ears, canceling the noise. And it's so calming. Just finished reading it, absolutely loved it. I find myself at a loss for words when trying to describe what the book is about. There's so much complexity and wisdom in it. There's so much richness and complexity in the descriptions of the main character's relationship with her father and her mother. I found that very compelling. I also love the portrait of the evolution of her inner journey with religion and Catholicism. The final scene in the chapel with her mother made it all absolutely worth it. Aren't we all lost travelers? I'm definitely going to read the next 2 books about this character by Antonia White. If you've read it, please let me know. I'd love to have someone to discuss it with. Antonia White is clearly a very underrated writer. All the more reasons to be grateful to Ravenous and classics.